So the whole point of this video is about connection. How can you connect on a human level when you're doing something digital? So I have a question for you. How do you connect with your audience when it comes to video marketing? That is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about several things that you can do to help connect yourself with your target audience. And also, guys, if this is your first time visiting my channel, please hit that like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. That coffee is good. Now, connecting with your audience is something that, that was the NFL Network. So we're just going to dive into this. We're going to begin with crafting relatability. Relatability first begins by putting yourself in the shoes of your audience. What's their pain points? What's their struggles? What's their fears? You can relate to them by sharing your own personal experiences when it comes to those specific topics that you're addressing for that video. When you're speaking about a specific subject, it's not that you have an understanding of how that thing functions and the point of it, but when you can actually say, hey, no, I've been there. I've been in the exact same shoes. This is what I've done to overcome that. That's where the trust comes in. That's where the relatability comes in. That's what makes you a human. And that's the whole point of your product and service, right? Humans buy from humans. And that starts first with being relatable. Next, we're going to move on to empathy. Let's face it, emotions drive connection. But how do you tap into that emotion for your target audience? This kind of goes back to being relatable. Share personal stories. Let people in. Pull the curtain back. Let them come backstage, see how things are made, and let it grow. I mean, you can feature testimonials, you can feature case studies, personalized anecdotes that kind of resonate with whatever you're talking about for that video. Humanizing your content fosters empathy. Now, you want to be genuine when you're being empathetic towards something that you're talking about on camera. You don't want to force it, because if you force it, your audience is going to see right through that, and they're going to know, hey, this guy's putting on a character, he's putting on a show. All he wants is my money. You don't want that. So empathy goes along with relatability, right? Being human, telling personal stories, letting people in. It does go a long way, trust me. Next, you have to understand your community. Beyond demographics, how well do you understand your community's values, aspirations, and of course, pain points? You do this by simply asking them questions. Run polls, do a live Q&A. This allows for their voice to literally be heard, for them to actually tell you their pain points and things that they're seeking. When you understand your community, it's gonna be so much easier to create the content that you need to create. Even before you unfold your tripod and get things set up, you know what you're going to film, because you know the day before, even a few hours before, you're like, oh, this is the issue, this is what someone said, that's my next video. And that segues perfectly into what we're going to talk about next, and that's user-generated content. I mean, your audience is your greatest advocate. You can do this by, simple call to actions, like I did at the beginning of this video. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. If you want to learn more about my marketing services, reach me at X, Y, and Z. We talked about some of these already, but you can share testimonials, you can share success stories, gratitude and recognition videos. I mean, and all these things contribute to your user creating something that praises your product, your service, a really fun, great, positive interaction that they had with you at a speaking event, something that they create to highlight the things that you offer. And last but not least, building trust through transparency. If your audience doesn't trust you, if they can't relate to you, then why are they going to enlist in your product or your service? Here's a good example. When I'm filming for my clients, I'm fully transparent when we're out filming a video for them. I allow them into seeing my process because I want them to understand why the camera is set up a specific way, why the framing is how I have it framed. That way, when we're in the middle of filming, they're fully aware. They know what's going on, they're on board, and in turn, their brain isn't going, they're not thinking like, why is that camera there? Why is he not focusing on me? Why is he focusing on that thing over there? It allows them to be fully in the moment and focus on the things that they need to say and not worrying about, why is he doing this? And the great thing about that is when you have a repeat client, they are fully into the process of how you create that content because they know what you do and how you go about filming these things. It builds trust, it builds a relatability, it builds, you know what I mean? And I've said a lot of things before where I'm setting up a shot, right? And I'll say, oh man, one time I blah, 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 and I kind of make jokes about mistakes that I did in the past, and it kind of makes it, a lighthearted kind of thing. Now don't do that right off the bat. You need to have a relationship first with your client before you start saying, oh, I remember one time I forgot to take off the lens cap. So the whole point of this video is about connection. How can you connect on a human level when you're doing something digital? And a lot of these things you probably have already done, and you just needed a refresher, a little, jump start to your brain to get things going. But keep these tips in mind. Be relatable. Allow empathy to be felt within the things that you create. Understand your community. Understand what they need. Leverage user-generated content. And build trust through transparency. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I hope you go forth and create the best videos you possibly can.